are live. Greetings, everybody. Say hello. I'll give you a while for you all to join in. Good evening, yawning in Yorkshire. Tell us where you are, who you are, what you're doing, what you're drinking tonight. I have a pint of coffee. Hello, everyone. We'll give a wee while to the numbers to join. Hello, Molly. Give a wee while to the numbers to join. And then we'll get going. Hi, Vanilla Ink UK. Hi from Glasgow. Is that where you are, Vanilla Ink? That's lovely. California. California. Oh, you're on the gin, me man. Having a glass of Vino Sally. Molly's in her kitchen having a cheeky cider. I love how lockdown is just an excuse for alcoholism. Good evening, good evening. Blueberry juice, Steph. Lovely choice, lovely choice. Hello, Sam Michael Pete. Well, you failed, Kate. I'm sorry. Hello, Jolene. One of my cats has joined us. Jolene. Jolene. You say hello? You're on the actual internet. Yeah. Come on. Nobody wants to see your bum. Say hello to Jolene, everyone. Who's that, Jolene? Hello. Go away. Right. Okay. What to do with me pen? Here it is. Alrighty. She is a pretty cat. Shame she's an asshole, Val. Right, we've hit the magic 30, so it's time to go. Alrighty. Okie dokie. I wrote boys the right way around this time, lads. You see that? Look. It's intelligent, isn't it? Although the vanilla ink up there is still back to front. But that's fine. Don't worry about it. So, this week's subject is wax carving. All to do with it, I'm going to get my sexy image up here that I did earlier. Look at that, look at that, what I did earlier on. It's probably the greatest thing I have ever achieved in my sad, sorry life. But, we're discussing wax carving, okay. So, what we want to run through are the rules for this, okay. So, the rules are, they're quite simple. Say hello when you come on, which is nice. So people are doing that. And it's lovely to see hello and where you're from. And what do you have in your hand, as in a drink wise? I don't want to know other things that you have in your hand. The most important thing to remember, right? See on your screen, now I've got it on my screen, okay, but there'll be a little box with a question mark in it. If you are wanting to ask me a question, stick it in there, okay? That's not what the comments for. The comments are for banter, saying hello and other things in there. But if you are wanting to ask me a question, use the comment box. Okay. So, if during the process of a question or I'm answering, and you've got a wee bit of input in there, then the comments are great for that, because I can pick that up. Hello, Alexa from Rotterdam. But if you're wanting to add an actual question, put it in the comments, the wee question mark. I hope that's a nice fajita, Scarlett from Broughty Ferry. Okay. Other things to tell you. Hello from Shetland. Yeti biscuit up in Shetland. Probably about 3 degrees and sideways rain. Right. wax carving, I'm no bad at it, alright? But what I want to say, and I'll say this every week I do this, I don't know everything, alright? Yes, I'm rather good. Yes, I'm rather experienced. Yes, I've got some skills. But I don't know everything. So I'll try and answer these questions the best I can for you, okay? If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. Plain and simple. But what we'll start off with are some questions that folk have already submitted. Seeing as there's none from you reprobates yet. So, where to start? I have them written here, okay? Yeah, so I think we'll start with tools, okay? Because it was quite a common question. And Shilpa asked this. Basically, about wax carving tools and what's best to use. Now you can see in that image that there are a variety of tools in there. So obviously the saw blade's in there, but you can see the things making up the A of the wax, and the X of the wax are actual wax carving tools, right? So if I can take this off, so you can get specific carving tools, alright? And I've got some here, so it might be quite difficult to hold up, but these might be familiar for you guys. Now these are the kind of dental wax carving tools, double-ended. So you might be familiar with these, and you can see that they're all different shapes. I can never know when the bloody camera is in this thing. All different shapes and sizes. Scoopy, pointy, sharp, and they all serve their purposes. Okay? However, I've never used one of these in my life. I've never found a need for them. And the reason is, and if you've been to any of the wax carving classes before, you'll know this, and you may have heard me say this on the other free content that we've been doing, is that anything that is sharp and pointy and scrapey and scoopy and other adjectives like that, are they adjectives? Any English teachers in there? Any other words like that, anything that can serve the purpose of removing wax, sculpting it, shaping it, does the job. So, these as well. Now these are the ones that we use for the carve classes, okay? Now these, I believe, are wood carving tools. Some people use them for lino as well, so lining cutting tools. These are great as well, and they serve a purpose also for people who would be doing our carve classes, as I said. Again, I don't use these. However, what I want to stress is that just because I do it or don't do it, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's what suits me. You have to find something that suits you. If you get by with these, if you find them for great, yes, Charlotte, lino cutting tools are good. If you get by with these, then great. That's what works for you, and I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. But all I've used for the eons and eons that I've been making jewellery, one of these, bastard file, right? So you'll get these from your local hardware store. It might have a letter B in it, it might have a Q in it, okay? And these are just really, really coarse, angry files. Now these are great, and you can see some of the wax dust on there from when I was using it last week. These are great because they're fiercer, deeper, angrier teeth and spaced further apart. And what that means is that they don't clog up with the wax when you file, which is perfect because then obviously the file will serve its primary function. I'm not swearing, Molly, it's an actual bastard file. It's its official term. Alright? You child, you Wayne. I would never make jokes like that though, would I? Okay? But these come in various sizes as well. Where's my pictures? So, You can get them in various kind of shapes and sizes, so you can get them in flat, half round, and then the one on the left hand side there is round, which is great as well. I think you get triangular ones. Triangular, what does that mean? I think you get triangular ones as well. Now, you can get a pack. Hello, the gold polisher, the actual gold polishing guru man from who's famous world over has joined us. Everybody say hello to him. An actual proper legend has joined in, not some guy who's pretending he knows what he means. So, you can get a pack which has flat, half round, triangular and round in there. And they're really, really good because you get an actual carry case with them, and you also get the wire brush that cleans the files as well, which is fantastic. It's really, really good for that. We lost ours until I bought a couple of new packs, and then we realised how much we were missing them. The wire brushes are really good for cleaning, getting into the grooves of these. Oops. They're really good for getting into the grooves of these. If I get rid of that, again, I can see what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, so that kind of wax dust that's in there, if my finger can't flick it out, then the wire brush is really, really good for getting in and cleaning that. Now, the second thing I would use, now this is basically just a plain old zero cut ring file. Okay. So for those who have just turned up, we're talking about wax carving, and we're talking about the tools that I would use. And we've already talked about the coarse bastard files. This one is just a plain zero cut file, okay? Now this was used by me for my day-to-day, everyday job. That's what I would use for filing up all metals. But of course, what happens is wear and tear. And once it's not really great for metal, which I would say about every 6 months or so, what you want to be doing then is retiring this. But it doesn't go to the great file shop in the sky. Splendid money penny. It doesn't go to the great file shop in the sky. What it then becomes is a wax file. Okay? And the same goes, don't think I have any here, but then the same goes for your needle files as well. Once they become too worn, that they're not filing the way they used to, then they become your wax ones as well. Alright? Another good thing to use is a scalpel. If you use a scalpel, the back of it is really good for smoothing things off, and the front of it is obviously good for cutting things as well. Other tools that you can use your pendant drill with burrs, etc., or anything that can remove metal, remove wax and things like that. So I've always got by with kind of basic tools. I've never used the specific wax carving tools that you buy. But again, that's not to say that I'm right or wrong. I'm just having a quick look here at some of your questions. So yeah, good one. So if you're fairly new to jewellery making and don't have any worn out files, what would you use? Then that's where anything sharp, pointy, scrapey, smoothy, scoopy. Sometimes the best tools that you'll ever use are homemade ones. They're ones that don't serve their primary function, but you have thought that, do you know what that'll be good for? It's really good for smoothing wax off or scooping it away, and then becomes a really good wax tool. So have a look around your house, have a look around your workshop, and figure out just what can be used for wax carving. Right. This is a good question from Melanie at Alchemy and Thistle about wax carving. For those who have just joined us, we are discussing wax carving tonight. Can you actually hear my kids screaming in the background? Bloody hell. Right. So what she asked was, can you join wax block together? Sure. I'll talk about the materials in a minute. But can you? I suppose actually it's not a bad time. So if we are going to talk about it in this system, maybe it's not a bad time to actually discuss the materials that you can get. So wax comes in kind of various forms and various colours. Alright. We discussed this during the incapacitated sessions last week, when we were talking about the different kind of colours of waxes you can get. I think it's if somebody can post that in the comments, then we can all see it. I think it was Freeman's who took Ferris wax over. And basically they have a chart and it tells you from green wax to purple wax to turquoise wax to blue wax to green wax to gold wax, and it told you all about their properties, and it told you all about what they were really good for, and it tells you that the blue wax is flexible, whereas the green wax and the gold wax is quite stiff and better for other things. Now a lot of it is trial and error. A lot of it, if you're new to the wax carving journey, you'll figure out just what colour of wax is good for what job. Blue wax is good for delicate things because it has a bit more flex to it, whereas the green wax is a bit stiffer. So if you get something that's maybe got a wee thin point in it, the blue wax is better because when you're holding it, it'll be a bit more bounce to it, whereas the green wax just cracks. So somebody's just, I've just seen this, so I'll address that. What colour is best to start with? It depends what you're doing. It really does. Something like green wax is great for, so if we were doing the Project Connect or Incapacitated, which we did last week, where it was a faceted pendant, the green wax would be much better for that because it's a harder wax and you could get more of a facet and a crisp finish on it, whereas the blue wax has a bit more flex. So the variety of ways you can buy it. You can buy it in tubs or packets or boxes of various slice. Okay, and you can see the difference between this one and this one. And there's ones that are thicker and deeper in this, and there's ones that are a wee bit narrower in this, and things in between. You also get one that is just a whole block. And then we go on to our wax tube. Hello. So if we can see the gauge of that one, that is perfectly round and perfectly even all the way round. Great for wedding rings. Slice it off, chop, done, get on with your job. This one is different. As you can see, this is offset. So if you were maybe doing a stone set ring, obviously this is the top of the ring, you wanted it tapering down to the back of the shank, this is your chappie. Or if you were doing something that required a fair bit of height or a bit of depth to it or shape, then you've got flat top as well. Now the flat top one comes in various heights as well. You get ones that are a wee bit shorter and you get ones that are a little bit higher. This is the kind of mid-range ones, and this is kind of what we tend to use. And again, they all come in different colours of wax, which again mean different things. So for example, I had a job and the brief was very similar to the incapacitated sessions, where the gentleman wanted a wide faceted ring. I would tend to use green wax for that because it could hold the shape a little bit better. Whereas if I was doing a full eternity ring, so somebody wanted a full pavé set eternity ring. Now in that, what I can do is drill all the holes and cut all the beads before I set that away for cast. So what you can do there is drill all the holes, get it ready, but if you can imagine that's in the green wax, which is a bit stiffer, how many times that's going to snap because it gets delicate, because you're removing a lot of that wax away. So that's where blue wax comes into its own. It's got a lot more flex to it. You can actually see that bending there. I'm going against my baldy head. So blue wax is great for when you're doing something that's delicate, you've drilled a lot of holes, or it comes to a kind of point or whatever. Okay. So let me just see. So the question, actually what started this off was, Melanie, can you join it together? Yes, is the answer. If you're in an emergency, say you wanted this, you didn't have this gauge, you ran out and you had an emergency job, and all you had was that. There is no reason why you can't stack it together. Now, it is very, very difficult because you can only fill it around the edges. So obviously, if it is stacked, if it's multiple ones, then it's going to be a problem. But what you would have to do is then constantly join it together as you carve. Now, it's not ideal and I wouldn't recommend it. However, if you're in a bit of a pickle and you need to get this job done and you need the depth, then you can put it together. But it's not brilliant, it's a bloody nightmare, and you'll be ruining the day you ever use that for a piece of shit practice piece and then you have to put all that together. Okay, so yes, you can do it. No, I wouldn't recommend it. Alright. Rabbit's tattoo. Yes, there you go. You can see. That was backwards. While I'm alive, I'll make tiny changes there. By the way, check this out, right? Okay. Whistle for your drink. You ready? I mean, it's amazing content. There's 50 people watching that on the internet live. Honestly. Right. Can we join that together? Yes. Tools? Yes. Scarlett of the Erskine of the Broughty Ferry got in touch earlier on and she asked about shrinkage, which is very, 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 very good question. Okay. So, for those of us who just joined us, we're talking about wax carving and everything to do with that, which is a huge, broad subject, so I'm just trying to say things that fall out of my head, alright? We'll do a more advanced one down the line when we talk about stone setting and wax, but at the moment we're just getting the basics of wax carving, which is a very broad subject. I know to try and fit in an hour, but let's see what we can do. Shrinkage, and in particular stone setting. So, back in the old days when I was a lad, there was a great deal of shrinkage when you wax carved, and we used to have to account for that. We used to legislate for the shrinkage, and it always used to be about 11, 12, 13%, I think was what we had to legislate for. Nowadays casting techniques are so much better. The investment powder that they use, just the techniques, there doesn't tend to be a huge deal of difference. If I'm making a ring a size M, I will make it a size M in the wax, because when it comes back it might be half a size down, and it's much better just to get that up a little bit size than it is to bring that down, in particular if you're doing an intricate design. So I would just always quite happily think that it's going to come out as is, or just a fraction smaller. For stone setting, again, if I've got if I'm setting up a flush set ring and I'm setting 3 mils, I would just drill the 3 mil hole, get that ready, and then leave it, which means I can just get the burr in there and set the stone in. I'm not going to make it any bigger. I'm not going to, because the techniques are good enough now that they'll get it pretty much dead on. The exception to the shrinkage rule is if you're making a master pattern. So say your client came to you and they had lost an earring and they wanted a match made. Now what you can do is get a mould made of it, then get it cast. Now what you can't do with that is just make a mould from the actual earring, get that cast, run the wax off, get it cast, and then get it back, because there is going to be shrinkage involved in that. So the only thing you could do is make a pair of earrings out of that, because you're taking a mould from the master, running off a wax, and then getting that cast. So there's kind of more steps for shrinkage. So if it's possible, you could turn the one earring into a pendant and then make 2 from the master pattern, basically. But shrinkage isn't a vast problem these days when you're casting directly from the wax. It's got a lot better these days. Alright, right, shrinkage. A lot of people have been getting in touch So, hi, I'm Scott McIntyre of Vanilla Ink, and you're watching Wax Carving Q&A. Is that good enough, Kate? So, where to start when this relates in a lot to the Connect project. So, if you have been doing all of our online projects, so Connect this week, the brief is a faceted pendant. And a lot of people are asking, once they've got their design about the troughs and the peaks, where the hell to start. Just a reminder, guys, to ask the questions in the little wee box at the bottom. We've got a few sitting there that I can't open just now. There they are. So we've got a few sitting ready and waiting to come to. But if you want to join in the conversation, comment in the comments. But if you want to ask a specific question, I will open it in that box. So press the wee question mark and type in there, and I'll get to it. I won't promise you I'm going to answer it, because it might be a shite question, so I might just ignore you. Do you know what I mean? Right, what was I talking about? No idea. Right, where to start? It's a difficult question because I don't know. It depends on your design. A lot of people are quite apprehensive about wax carving. I was terrible at the start of this journey when I started wax carving. I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand the ratio that you're using much coarser files to a much softer material. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't get that delicate touch, and eventually I tried, and eventually it did happen for me. But it didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't an immediate thing. So don't think that the first time you're ever going to pick up a bit of wax, you're going to be a demon at it, because it's not going to happen, I'm afraid. And if you are, I'll hire you, okay? But it's a difficult process, and it's just about being bold. So if you've got this, about 4 or 5 people have got in touch about the Connect project, about the peaks and the troughs and the things. So it's triangles. So if you don't know what we're talking about, have a look at Project Connect on Facebook. But it's a faceted pendant that we're doing. It's triangles, facets, and this, that, and the next thing. So it's a lot of angles that we've created, and people are not confident enough to know where to start. So the way I did it was, I figured out where my peaks were, and I just filed the angles up to the peak. It's much easier to do that, because then that leaves the trough, okay? But a lot of it is trial and error. But remember, the thing about wax is it's very, very forgiving, and the only thing you've lost is time. And usually time is money, but when you're just joining in with something like Connect, it's not. So this is the perfect time for you just to practice and, as we would say, fanny around and just join in with these kind of things, because there is no money to be lost here. Wax is incredibly cheap, but it's very forgiving, and if you make an arse of it, then you've wasted an hour of your time. And it's fine, and I know it's frustrating, and I know Kate's saying it's really hard and difficult, and that's fine, but a lot of people aren't used to working with wax. A lot of people aren't trained wax carvers. As I said, please remember this. I took ages to get to wax carving. I was shite at it. Honestly, I was utterly bollocks at it. If you see some of the stuff that I made back in the day, you would piss yourself laughing, and you would not believe that someone like me, who has made some of the things that I've made out of wax, could have actually made that journey from where I started. So please, if you are struggling, please don't be disheartened, downhearted, downbeaten, all these words that I can't think of at the moment. Please don't. It's the reason I really love wax is it's therapy for me. I find it calming. I find it therapeutic. I find it soothing. I lose myself in it. And I want you to be able to do that too. So please don't be pent up about it. Don't think, I can't do this, I don't know where to start. Just let it go. Just make it happen. And I know I sound like some arty-farty creative, but that's what I am. I'm sorry. Okay? I've lived through the 90s. I'm still getting throwbacks, man. Right. So just let it go. Be free. Thanks for sending me a Slack, Kit. Just do it. Let it go. And carve. And let it come through your head, and let it come through your arm and out through your fingers, and see what happens, right? Now, if you make an arse of it. It's a bit of wax, man. Throw it away. What I like to do is keep it, and I'll encourage my students to do this as well. And we did this in Incapacitated. Do one and then move to the next one. Do the exact same task twice, right? And you should see improvement. And what happens is every time you do it, you'll get better. Then you'll get to a point where you get too cocky, and then you'll make an arse of it again. And that's the one that smacks you in the backside and gives you a kick and makes you realise that you're being too cocky, okay? But don't be disheartened, okay? And also, yeah, lots of mistakes. I mean, right, okay, people are bored of hearing this, right? But I have made more mistakes than you have ever tried, okay? Probably all of you put together. I've made an arse of things over and over and over again, and it's how I've learned, and it's how I am, how I've got to where I am at the moment, okay? Don't be afraid to fail, and don't be ashamed to fail, okay? Don't you forget that. Try again. Be proud of what you can achieve. Don't try to reach what you can't just now. Tiny steps, make tiny changes, okay? Make myself emotional here. Natasha, you're not going to be in my live video. Stop requesting that you're going to be in it. I'm pressing buttons. How does this work? How does this work? Hi Eve Balashova, how are you tonight? Right. Okie dokie. This is a big question. Okie dokie. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. Half time. Oh, look at the time, it is half time. I don't have talk shite for a long time. Huh? Let's get some readers' questions first. Right, let's race through these. It's the half-time quick time. Sophie Cunliffe Jeweller, who's probably pissed under a bottle of wine at the moment. Can I use my old burrs? Yes. Old burrs are great for wax because obviously, like files, your big files, your little files, your needle files, they're great for then using for wax, okay? Burrs are expensive, and once they're dead for metal, don't throw them away. Use them for wax, okay? Use them for wax. Use them for wax. Jesus. My God, there's 1,000 questions in here. Good question. Can you melt the scrap wax to reuse? No, because I'll end up full of air bubbles. Full of air bubbles. So as much as it would be great to be able to recycle your wax like we do for metal, we can't. However, don't throw away your dust is useless, right? Although I know some ingenious people who use the wax dust for certain things, okay? But I'm not going to give away the secrets. You need to find that out yourself. This isn't what we're here for. But your wee off-cuts, keep them. Keep an off-cut drawer, because you never know when you need to stick on a wee pointy bit or a round bit, or in particular if you need a wee off-cut to make granules with and things like that. So you can't melt the scrap wax, but you can reuse the bits of it. Zoe Jane Jewellery, every day is Friday now, isn't it just? Excellent. Will you be talking about cast in place in your next session? No! I'm going to talk about it tonight. But later. Did I say scarps? Okay. Did I? Did I say scarps? Did I? Or was it an in-joke? I don't remember. Hold on, I'm just looking through your questions. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to get to that after. Right, this is a good question from Molly. What would be your basic start for carving a shape band to fit an engagement ring? Okay, so I have some images here, hopefully. Oh man, I've not given it, your mother. Oh, I spent ages downloading loads of pictures. Oh man, I'm pure furious about that. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I'm absolutely raging about that. Okay. I just need to get rid of that. Okay. So, I had some nice pictures which would have helped. But the basic start for it, there's two ways of doing it. You can either carve it freehand to fit it, or you can drop it in, i.e. If you have an engagement ring which has a stone in it that can take heat, you can heat it up gently and drop it in. So if you get the wax slice, you can heat a ring up and drop it in here. And when you pull that back out, what you've got is a perfect negative impression on this. Okay, it's quite an advanced technique. We teach it in the Introduction to Wax carving class. It's always good fun though, mainly because there are so many balls up, but it's always good fun. And it means, I've got a wee beastie in here, what it means is you're left with a perfect negative impression of the curved or whatever pointy wedding ring, engagement ring, sorry. So it is very, very accurate. But as Molly, who asked the question, I did a shaped wedding band recently and it took me a whole tube to get it right. But you got it right in the end, Molly. And that's all that matters. Alright? It's all about practice. Now, Molly just came recently, a couple of weeks, to my Introduction to Wax class. And we did the drop-in technique, and we also did the carving freehand. Now, some people prefer to carve freehand, some people prefer that drop-in technique. I think it's important to learn both because the drop-in technique is best. However, not all engagement rings carry a ring that has a stone that you can heat up, because obviously once you drop the stone in the wax, it becomes clogged with wax and you have to burn that out. So that's why it has to be able to take the heat. Okay, so wax is great for fitted wedding bands though, because you don't have to fanny about moving, shifting, cutting, shaping metal, bruising it, not getting it right. It's just much easier. Wax is brilliant for doing wax, for doing carved fitted wedding bands. I will get to stone setting and wax. I did see an interesting question in here a minute ago. Oh, actually, it's two. I don't even know what comes after that. I can't. Ooh, hello. Ooh. I can't even make that go bigger. That was a problem when you get to my age. Right, when you're designing a piece, do you already know if you'll make it in wax, or do you decide after? ... ellipsis. Sometimes it leaps out at me that I know fine well what's going to be done as wax. And I've got a good example here. So, this is a job that I did. Where are we? Okay. So the brief was, it was to be a kilt pin. And I had to use some old metal, some new metal, and they wanted it to be Norse. He was Norwegian. So some of you might remember this if you're long-term followers. Why we stuck with us. So, as we can see here, I have used a bit like that, okay? And what I've done is exactly kind of what I did on Project Connect, was I double-sided taped on it, and then I pierced around it. And then I've got that wolf head shape, okay? And then I cut it out. So there we are with that. And then I had created the blade piece and the other parts in the metal. Now, when you see the finished piece, you'll see that it's pretty obvious that the main blade part was absolutely nailed on. It was going to be in a bit of sheet. Okay, it's the blade of a kilt pin. What would be the point of casting that? The second part of it was an intricate wire frame. That's too delicate for wax, so that was metal. However, I don't think I could have got the accuracy of that wolf head in metal. So that's why I chose to do that. Now, basically, to strip your question back, do I already know if I'll make it in wax or metal? Most of the time, yes. Most of the time. Okay, and this is how it ended up. Am I in the way here? So you can see that the blade part, made in metal. That hilt part was based on a traditional Viking knot. It's obviously a riff on a Celtic knot. And then our wolf head at the top, which made much more sense to carve it a wax than to try and piece out a metal, just because of the depth of it. And then it was a piece of found amber in its mouth. So I absolutely adore the look of that. It was a beautiful, beautiful job. Sounded a bit like Donald Trump there. Hey, empty menus, you shut up. I have no idea who that might be. It might be Peter Griffin. Yeah. Okay. Absolute pish. Absolute nonsense. Any electric pens, or do you prefer a probe? Who doesn't prefer a probe, Sophie? Electric pens are crap, but that's only my opinion. I don't like electric pens. I think they're absolutely terrible. I don't think they get enough heat. However, there are people that swear by them. What are you to do? Huh? Yeah. I don't like them. I don't think they generate enough heat, and I don't think you can get enough control. What I use is a torch and a solder probe. I heat the end of the probe up, and then I dip it in the wax and pick it up that way, or repair it that way. So I don't use electric pens. I prefer a good old-fashioned probe. Alison Aerosmith. Oh God, there's millions of questions. Hold on. Don't know. This is just, hello, question. Where have you gone? Come back up. Oh God, no. Here it goes. What do we use to join wax bits together? That's what we just talked about. That's what the person was asking. I think it was Sophie was asking about the wax pens. That's a wee electric pen that you click and it heats up a wee point, and then you can pick up bits of wax with it. What I'm saying is I prefer to heat up the end of this. Why don't you just look at the actual thing and look at the screen, Scott? Ah? What's that? So I'm heating up the end of this till it's red hot, and then I dip it in a wee off-cut of wax. So this is what I was talking about earlier on, to keep your off-cuts of wax. You can dip it in there and you can pick up a little bit. It goes on your end here, and then you can join it together. Okay, and it's the same way we do granulation and repairing bits of wax that snapped. Back into the questions. Similar. So how do you make little balls like granulation? Just like that. Heat up the end of your wax pen, heat up the end of your probe, dip it in the bit of scrap wax, and lift it up. Now, I say that as if it's pure dead easy. It's not. The heat that the probe has to be, the time that you have to sit it in the scrap bit of wax, and the perfect time to lift it out and put it on takes a lot of practice. Somebody like Sarah Brown is great at that. That's how she creates her beautiful sea foam and that kind of like jewellery. She does a lot of granulated jewellery. So that's how she will do it, and it takes a lot of patience. So if you're one of these jewellers who has zero patience, don't even attempt it, okay? Looking at questions. Hi Christina Vernon _. Are you better to make the piece in wax in one bit, or can you do multiples and join them together? Latter. You can do multiples and join them together. And I've done this lots of times. And in fact, you were who I had in my head, little one. Person with zero patience. You can do multiple pieces think about when you're carving, think about the end product. Think about how easy it is to finish. Think about the way it goes together. Think about if it's a ring and it's got a head on it. Think about, is it easier to carve this ring separately, carve this head separately, and then put them together in the metal? They may be different metals as well. Or alternatively, if you are doing like a bezel set ring, what you can do is you can make the bezel up already, heat that up gently, and then drop it into your ring, and then you've got the perfect shape for the bezel there. And then use the bezel once the wax has been cast and set that in place. Okay, so there is nothing wrong with making the piece in one bit, nor is there anything wrong with doing it in multiple bits. It just depends on the job. Okay, and without seeing the job, I can't tell you. So away you go. Did I do that every time I look at questions? That must be really annoying. Right. Okay, it's just seeing as somebody's asked that. Granulation is wee balls, wee tiny balls. Look up in particular somebody like Sarah Brown. Her jewellery is beautiful. Okay, go do it, but not now. Watch me. I'm more entertaining. Come on, the comment box. Work. Thank you. If you do get a bit of shrinkage, does it tend to be uniform all over? Yeah, basically. It doesn't pick and choose when it shrinks. Not that I think anyway, but it doesn't tend to pick and choose. Kate's just reminded me to say that somebody else who uses granulation a lot is Emma Wiley. Go and have a look at her ring. It's beautiful. Her jewellery. Absolutely beautiful. To cut a groove in wax, would you use the bastard file on the thin edge? Quite often you can do so on that side, yeah. So what you're saying is using that kind of that sharp edge that's prominent there. Yes, I use that quite often to get a nice kind of groove and a channel in there, especially if it's going to be quite deep and kind of facety. And if you're familiar with the kind of stuff that I do, then it is quite sweepy and curvy and facety and all the samey, and I'm a one-trick pony and I'll get found out one day. But yes, very much so. I've used the bastard file to start that off first and then refined it with the other files afterwards. So yeah, good question, Rona. Oh, I don't want to send a bloody comment. Oh, how did I get rid of that, man? Oh no. Thank you. Again, talk amongst yourself, guys. Right, let's talk about the touchy subject of finishing wax. Okay. Bastard groove. Alison Vanilla Ink, are you sitting on the gin? Right. This ties into finishing. And Angela and Muriel both asked in advance. So if you didn't know, guys, you can ask your questions in advance, and that way you are guaranteed that I will deal with them because I write them down in front of me. So if you want to, for next week, then most definitely send your messages to me in advance. Don't send them to Kate. She hasn't a clue what's going on, ever. That's not true. She is actual Vanilla Ink. I'm just some ugly bit of furniture in the corner that serves a purpose. So what to do is to send your questions to me via Instagram DM, and then I will deal with them, okay? And then that way I'll write them down in front of me. Now, we do tend to get quite a lot of the same ones, and that's actually reassuring. I quite like that, because that means quite a lot of you want to know about this one, so I'll definitely talk about it, which is absolutely fine. Kate, while you're here, I can't find, can you just remind me what next week is, please? Just text me. So we're going to talk about finishing wax. Yes, I know. We're a team. We pinky promised, remember? Okay. Finishing. Right. Contentious subject, because there's people out there who meticulously finish their wax, okay? They get it to a beautiful, smooth, shiny finish, and then it gets cast, and then it comes back, and then they have to file it up. So what's the bloody point of getting a smooth finish on it? Okay? Yes, it is, Kate. So, here's my theory, alright? Is it to be a wax model for a client to sign off on? Flowchart, okay? Is the client going to sign off on it? No. Okay. I will take it down to either this file or a needle file, okay? It will still have file marks on it, and I couldn't give a flying hoot. And the reason that is because I have to file the cast finish off to finish the piece of jewellery. Alright? Now, there may be other jewellers out there at the moment watching this going, oh my god, there may be other tutors saying sacrilege. You may think I'm an idiot, and that's fine. I'm probably all of these things, right? But I'm going to file it anyway. What's the point of getting it to a beautiful smooth finish to put a zero cut file all over that once I'm done? The exception to that rule, flowchart. Is the client going to sign off on it? Yes, Scott. Okay, let's go down here. The client might not like their ugly wax full of file marks, alright? So, if it is full of file marks, then maybe you want to take it down a wee bit more. So therefore, I will use definitely a needle file. I might use one of those little kind of abrasive sponges, but here is the best thing to use. Get yourself an old pair of tight slats, okay? Cut them up and hook it over your finger. Push it over your finger and then rub the wax. That will give you a lovely, smooth finish. Don't put lighter fluid on it. Don't burn it unless you're wanting that eroded look. Don't do anything else. Tights. Rub it. Done. I've revolutionised your life, guys. Alright? Right. Oh, I wanted to deal with this one. Right, we're down to the last 7 minutes. Yeah. Dear God, I talk so much shite. Can this wax be used in the Delft casting method? Yes! I would positively encourage it, okay? We teach this in our level 3 class at wasn't expecting tights here. You should expect it, unexpected with me, pal. Can this wax be used in the Delft casting method? Yes. Where do my old tights come from? They're mine. Tights aren't just for women, lads. Sort yourselves out. Okay. I keep getting distracted. You're all bad people for putting funny comments in there and making me react to it. Look, I've still got 7 minutes left. 6 minutes left. Right, so can this be used on Rocky Horror Night? Oh, you have no idea how much I want to play Frankenfurter. So in our level 3 class, or our intermediate 2, we do the first week we do wax carving and a wee introduction to it, where we encourage them to carve a little pendant, and then the following week we will Delft clay cast it. And in fact, in our casting day, our sand casting day at Vanilla Ink. We were doing 3 things. We were doing a ring, which we were going to use templates of. We were going to do don't get curious about my activity, Steph. We were going to do a pendant, and then we were going to do a stone in place cast pendant in Delve Clay, which leads me beautifully on to where I want to finish, which is stone setting in wax. Okay. Now, did somebody ask this? Because I've written it down as well. Hold on, I'm just going to fit Sheena in here. Is it going to work? Yeah. I've talked about the colour, Sheena. Go away. Watch your back. Watch it back, alright? Right. The mind boggles. Certainly does. Stone in place casting. Right. I've only done this once. Right. No, lies. Absolute lies. Okay? Lies. There's a couple of ways of doing this, okay? You can use a Delve Clay casting method, okay? And this was first brought to my attention by Jo McFadgen, okay? And she told me about it, and I thought it was a fantastic idea, and I wanted to go away and try it for myself. So I want to give her credit for letting me know about this. But in the Delve Clay, so if you get a chunky ring and you put it between, sandwich your mould between the 2 halves and open it up, see if you sprinkle stones in there that can take the heat. Pour them in there, close it back up, pour your molten metal in there. Now, it is not an accurate thing. Some stones fall out, some stones smash, but give it a go. It is an incredible, fun and brilliant technique. You don't have to be sorry, Sheena, but just don't turn up late and think we haven't covered that. Do you know what I mean? And what I want to quickly talk to you about is stone in place casting. Now, I've only done this once, and it was for a little friend of mine who's small, diminutive, but a kick-ass and all-powerful woman. And that's Miss P Pickering, okay? This photo hasn't come through very well. It's not very clear, I'm afraid. I'm just zooming in on myself. But I carved this skull for Kate for her birthday, and then I decided to try to get the stone in place casting, and I got Charlie McManus to do it and brought it ferry for me. Not a lot of casters will cast with stone in place, okay? They don't want to do it, and the reason is because it fails so often. But if you've got a good relationship and you run a very powerful business like Vanilla Ink, then this is what you can achieve. So this raven head here has got multiple sapphires that were cast in place, and it came out perfect. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of jewellery. I've only tried it once. I want to try more of it, but I don't have time to do it, especially now. Right, I've got my 2-minute warning. I'm down to 1.5 minutes. So what I need to tell you is, 1, thank you for watching. There's constantly been about 50, 60 of you tonight, and that's been great. That's beyond my wildest dreams. That is about 70 more than I thought would watch. I will make that joke every week, and I don't care, okay? Secondly, next week we're going to talk about bezel setting. That's bezel setting, guys. So start having a think about what you want to ask me next week for bezel setting. Bezel encompasses, and we'll talk about this, but that's bezel, tube, rub over and collet, okay? But we'll address that. Not now, don't ask me now, we'll address it. Secondly, this has been recorded. Not only will it be available for the next day on my Instagram stories, but we'll be putting it up on my YouTube, our YouTube channel, okay, where you'll find all of our content. Also, we'll be getting some special guest stars in throughout the course of this Q&A. We'll be getting a gemologist in, we'll get another master setter in, we're getting a silversmith in, and we're getting an analyst in. So, all I have to say to you, with 15 seconds remaining, is thank you for putting up with me. I have no idea why you've been watching me talk for an hour, but all I want to say is stay safe, keep well, be kind. I love you all. Mwah!